I like how sometimes you choose which one is like the.
I just forget which one's what. All right, so last week we finished up on Act 1 of Wrestling is Real, and now we are jumping into Act 2. Act 1 ended at the Underground Wrestling and Marty's date with Jessica. Act 2A.
So just so everyone knows, Act 1 is really just the setup of the old world, and he's kind of just being thrown into it. And Act 2 really is the beginning of the new world. So everything's going to change for Marty here, basically.
And what, like, new world, I think maybe it was like Joseph Campbell that was kind of the one who coined some
like
of these terms.
Ordinary world, new world.
So typically Dan Harmon likes to use this structure for stories, which is it's cyclical. So the character is going on a journey. They cross over at some point for us, which is Act 2, into this new world where everything's kind of topsy-turvy and they have a thing that they need to solve. Eventually, come back around to new enlightenment. So
yeah, and there's a great script called Darwinism that does that really well. So
yeah, I heard about that one once.
So Act 2, when we go into this, big part of Act 2A are the fun and games. It's trailer moments. So just for this specific one, it's a lot of goofy, Will Ferrell in tights wrestling and go dodgeball. You can't dodge a wrench. If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. That type of humor. Real highbrow stuff. Real
very
next level humor is what I'm getting at.
Yep, not slapstick at all. All right, Act 2A. Fury is officially going to help Marty. The next day, Marty, hungover, walks into the gym and is smacked with a chair by Chet. His training has begun. He goes over the lessons of wrestling. Always, we kind of just have a couple placeholders here right now. We're not sure if there's more or less, but always follow the script. Showmanship is king. Costumery, everything and anything is a weapon. Marty asks Jessica out.
It is pretty dodgeball-esque, the rules of dodgeball. Literally, it's kind of the same structure, but I think it works perfectly here. Also, kids probably haven't seen dodgeball these days.
No, we probably haven't seen dodgeball. Definitely sound like Sean Connery when you say costumery.
Oh, we have this running thing, where Kyle's family couldn't say the word costume. They always say costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's like a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there was a word my mom
genetics.
couldn't say. I forget.
Yeah,
it's not important. My mom is the costume.
Does your 23andMe say that genetically you might not be able to say costume?
Yeah, it's like a 99% chance I won't be able to say it.
So the big thing for this though, there are plans here specifically for the costume that comes in later. So it's we need to make more of these important that they are plans for the rest of the movie, because I think this whole scene is pretty pivotal, like all of these moments with him and Ferrell in the last fight, because he kind of uses all of these tools.
This feels like a 10-page sequence or something, really. This is a lot of movie.
Yeah, we have 3 sentences.
Yeah.
But the costume specifically, it's going to be what he's wearing has to do with the aerodynamics, and it's he's snipping down the little flanges to make sure he can still throw properly. He's all about keeping it safe too, you don't want to kill the other guy.
So he meets up with luchadors for a makeover.
Oh yeah, we think there's real flamboyant luchadors would be awesome.
Yeah.
And they're just oh honey, we're gonna hook you up. And they just go all out with his get up.
All right. Everything and anything is a weapon. I don't know, we just kind of put that in there because we were thinking about him using a kid as a weapon at some point, right? I think that was really the plant there, but
I mean that could be part of showmanship is king. I guess we'll have to drill down on what these real rules are. I need to watch some wrestling.
I think we need to have Goldust and RuPaul as the people that do the costumes. So we see a bunch of different costumes they're making for him, and they're crazy drag ones where it's it's a little too much, and they're slimming it down and changing it up. I think that would be
I like
pretty
that.
fun too.
Yeah, Gold Dust, definitely the weirdest wrestler to ever exist. Yeah, I think maybe some can be condensed into the others. I feel like Always Follow the Script is kind of like the main one though, because that's sort of the whole story
theme,
thread, kind of. Yeah, I definitely still think he needs to use a kid as a weapon though.
I like that. So this is mostly fun and games, and then moving forward in Act 2.
Yeah, so Marty asks Jessica out to dinner. Marty and Jessica get down. Marty goes to show off his costume to Jessica. So he goes...
Costume? There's no way. Try to say it again.
It's an
costume.
Ancient, this is an ancient
costume.
Okay.
You can't...
Costume?
Marty
goes out to show his
you're going to get me to say it once, but when I read it, I'm going to say costume.
Yeah.
Library.
In the library.
Pillow.
Pello,
yeah, that's the
George Washington.
Yeah, George. Yeah,
That's
our
right.
first president.
Harold and Kumar. Warshup. Fuck my wife.
Harold and Kumar.
All right.
All right. Marty and Jessica get down. Marty goes to show off his costume to Jessica. Jessica helps him with his costumery and presentation. The song "Kiss Me" plays as she shaves his body and oils him up. She puts gold eyeliner on him. They start to wrestle playfully. Marty slams her on the bed. She laughs. Silhouette of them getting it on.
Wrestle sex. Very good.
Also, well, yeah, we shave his body in. That's another plant that comes in later. Also, we did change this a little bit, where Jessica, we were thinking like, how do we make this a little bit more natural, where Marty asked Jessica out to dinner. So we did just start adding this thread that Jessica is like a rehab doctor for the Wrestling Federation, and she's starting her own practice. She actually has an apartment above a retail space, a commercial space that she's either looking to rent out, and Golden Boy kind of gives her the nudge, like, you should just go for it, or she already rented out and she's just trying to put everything together. So this way it's a little instead of just saying like, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? A lot of times in movie scenes, if you see someone at like a dinner or a cafe or something, it's just a cheap way to get them to be talking or just walking in the woods or just sitting down. We use also Blake Snyder's Pope in the Pool, where it's like, put them in a situation that either makes you feel like this is funny way to approach this dialogue, or something that actually drives the story, which is, I wanted to make Jessica have a thread that she is starting this rehab practice, and then when she asks Marty to hang out, or like, hey, I want to show you something, she's like, hey, I did it.
Yeah.
So that's where he actually shows up to the rehab place with a bag that has the costumes in it. She's showing him around. She's like, what do you have in the bag? And he's like, the costume. She's like, you want to try them on for me? And then shot from up the boots with the kiss me. And that's
I love that. Just another sidebar. The Pope in the Pool thing. I think this one's from Script Notes podcast. It's like the same message, but basically give them something to do. You don't want to see like scenes in a just eating dinner or something. Like, what does that really do for, give the characters something to do, which is
shaving the body,
which is wrestle sex in this.
Which is also him just not being like, you want to go out to dinner, and them talking at dinner. It's more, this is a part of her life that we're going to see later and grow her business.
I love it. All right, so they do the wrestle.
He power bombs her onto the bed.
Okay, in a silhouette, like
and it's a water bed, and so it bursts open.
Okay.
All right.
How long do your scenes get with like slapstick? That bursts open, and then he flies out the window. Is this naked gun?
I gotta call a plumber, and they get a plumber, and then he's like, "Why'd you call a plumber? The waterbed broke." And he's like, "I don't know. I got all scared and got confused." And then, eventually they end up on.
You ever think about writing Naked Gun movies?
Yeah, they end up on a red eye to watch a Naked Gun movie in Hawaii.
Okay. And then the next scene happens.
With Richard Gere.
You can't say that name either.
No.
Richard Gere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can say Gere. Like
I'm gonna have to talk to Justin, your father, about
Gere,
this.
but not gear. Richard Gere. Like, is it like bike gear?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Nah, I can't say it, dude. Wait, you said you were gonna try to talk to my dad? You never talk to him ever.
I tell him happy birthday every year. He never responds.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
He fucking doesn't know you exist.
Not even on his radar. Okay, so
Right.
number 14.
Yep, power bombs are onto the bed. Marty and Fury have their first official match. Marty gets tagged in, and Dustin is furious. Marty and Fury are in the dressing room practicing their routine with their opponents. All of their other wrestlers do the same. It's their first official match together, and Chet tags Marty into the match to win. Dustin sees this happen and is furious.
So when we're talking about the next scene, he's kind of saying the overview first, and then kind of the breakdown of that. But this is a big pivotal part because it's the villain being like, "I'm like gonna destroy you." He has never been tagged in. We maybe need to make that a little bit more obvious through the rest of the
Like
script.
a flashback, like it zooms into his eyes and he sees all the moments that he was not
Well,
tagged
I
in.
think it's
Actually,
like
he sees
right
Golden
in
Boy
front
get
of his
tagged in.
face. We were gonna have him. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I love
shot
that.
is
Yeah,
perfect.
the shot's like,
and he's in
Yup.
the like side of the stand.
Yeah,
or whatever, and you
okay.
just see it, like,
Yeah,
the
he's
tag
like
in
front
of his face.
row for this one because he sent someone out to like fuck him up, and he is getting fucked up, and he's like he's never gonna tag this guy in. And once he sees that, claps right where he is, and it releases, and his face is just so pissed.
that's great.
And then he just charges up the stands.
Montage of Marty and Fury winning. The wrestling community is seeing a shift, and the ratings are on the rise.
So this is the fourth montage of the movie.
Even Rocky has a montage.
Yeah.
I mean,
6 or 7
I think-
montages.
I think the fun and games part up a little higher is it's montage-y, but it's not. This is like pure 80s montage.
So I was thinking pull a lot of I want to pull in like I would love to pull in wrestle community podcasts and things like that. So it's like one of those podcast hosts interviewing someone like The Rock or Triple H that's not in the movie per
Yep.
se in a big part, but they're a huge
As
part of the wrestling
themself,
community as themselves. And it's like, hey, you're seeing wrestling on the rise. How has it been for business? How is this? And I just want a lot of those people to be seen in this. Also, along with funny moments of Will and Marty fighting, doing ridiculous moves. And maybe them coming out in some of those more like weird costumes that like RuPaul had made. So there's like a few different scenes of that.
I mean, straight up, this is a sports movie. So I think, montage is necessary. Like, and probably a few of them. Think about all the classic, like Bad News Bears and that's the only one I think. Moneyball, like
Bad
any
News,
sports
Moneyball.
movie.
Wow.
Rocky,
Yeah,
Cinderella
Angels
Man,
in the outfield.
Cinderella
Angels
Man.
in the Outfield.
Wow, okay.
Cinderella Man.
Air Bud.
I didn't even see that movie.
Okay, keep going.
Every boxing movie that just went Raging Bull.
Yeah,
That's good.
Okay, that's a sports
All right, no
movie.
more boxing movies. You got a
Yeah,
lot of
I
boxing.
mean,
The Boxer.
the
Oh,
boxer,
yeah, Friday Night Lights.
the fighter, the one with the chair and
All the
Clint
fighting.
Eastwood and
There you go. Yeah.
Trouble
Mon-
with the
$1 million
curveball? Was that-
baby, bro.
Trouble with the Curve. No,
$1 million
Oh,
Million
baby.
Dollar
Baby.
Baby. So montages are fine. Anyway, Dustin
Fever Pitch.
tries
Even
to
$1
win.
million baby had a montage.
Okay, so
Yeah.
after
well,
this
is
montage,
this is only the fifth
I
one.
feel like
There's 20.
montages always end with a turning point.
And this does.
Dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dustin tries to win over Marty.
Wow, that was like a
Dustin.
really good setup that we had. Me and Brendan there, and then it was just completely ruined.
Dustin is sitting in his office.
It's like an alley oop that just gets like
Yeah.
bricked.
Yeah.
It's an alley oop that the guy underneath is just eating an ice cream. And
You
not
like
even
how I'm
paying
going? I'm
attention.
going with all the sports references.
Oh,
that I
okay. So it's the
understand.
alley oop that was not turned into the touchdown.
Bricked is
no.
a thing.
No, yeah, I bricked it.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin is sitting in his office when Marty enters. Dustin, hey, look at this gold. Look at who this is.
Okay.
Hey,
Do you want me to take over here?
Oh, you do the dialogues.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Okay. So this is the
All right.
dialogue. You're gonna be like the narrator
Yeah.
of this terrible novel.
All right, Dustin
Hey, look who it is! Our golden boy.
looks over at Lackey, who is now in body cast.
Mind you, Dustin body slammed him earlier
Yep.
for saying it's golden boy. He looks over at the lackey. It's golden boy, right?
Lackey shakes his head.
Yeah, Golden Boy. Golden Boy, everything you're doing for GFW is great. Ratings are up, and you have real potential to be the next face of this company.
Dustin reveals tons of Golden Boy merch. Dustin shows Marty the ring through his glass window. The office can see the entire ring, and a zip line is attached from his office to the ring.
I love wrestling, but the board needs some change. It's not my decision. I brought Chef Fury to shake things up a bit, try to save wrestling. Thing is, I've done all I can. I see potential in you, but I need you to spend some time focusing on the future of the sport, the future of your career.
Marty looks away. Dustin looks at his posse, knowing he's not getting through to him.
Listen, I know they probably told you I was bad for wrestling. I'm the bad guy. But look at this. I put a freaking zip line down to the ring from my office. Who does that? You know the insurance premiums I have to pay on this stupid zip line? Someone that loves wrestling so much.
They look over the ring.
Chef Fury just never gave me a shot. I resented him for that, but I gave him another shot. I thought he was just looking out for himself, but I think I was wrong.
This is great. I would sidebar just so like the audience, our podcast audience knows, we usually write these like when we're writing dialogue at this stage, it's completely on the nose, and we do keep some pieces, but usually when we write dialogue here, it's just to like get the point. Here's the point of the scene, and we're just gonna have these characters say it. So just in case you're sitting there like, you know,
wondering
they wouldn't
why,
say that, you know.
Yeah,
like,
wondering why there's a professional actor you just started hearing ripping these lines. You're just thinking, wait a second.
This is very good.
This is really good.
You actually kind of reminded me of Will Arnett in that, and I was like, Will Arnett is a pretty good sub out here for.
I like that.
You know, he's got the right like tone for the Galactic Wrestling Federation. He takes care of his body. Yeah, if he's listening to this,
he doesn't.
He should.
Maybe he does.
Listening.
He definitely takes care of his body. He definitely does
he's
not
a great
listen to
man.
this. Yeah, he's really fit.
He's a hunk, bro.
He's a hunk.
He's a hunk. That should work. Make that a little clip there, Luke.
And this is where we never do a podcast again. Okay, moving on. So I like that turning point, though. We have a little montage. They're winning, and then the villain is clearly like, "Hey,
yeah, now Dustin.
I need something from you."
And
he's
make planting the seed, like, "Hey, I am trying to be helpful." Like he's planting this fake seed of like, I'm trying to be helpful, but he is trying to ruin wrestling.
He's gonna make his dreams come true. It's really like, you know. Okay, we have a couple missing beats here.
Yeah. So the big thing, Kyle just. The guys in his brain were like,
yeah.
"Oh shit, they're looking at you, think of something." So I think it's SpongeBob when they're all like looking for the files and they're freaking out in the brain, and they start setting it all on fire. Okay, so this is the problem. Is like I think this section we left these beats here because I think this needs more.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things I thought of but didn't write on here. Chet Fury was awful in the beginning, and now he's willing to help him, which makes sense because he has a moment of weakness, not weakness, but a moment of actually clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember that Chet Fury is at the moment of his life that he's like, I want to be on top, though. So what I had thought about, and this might be our issue because there's going to be too many characters, there is a moment in the midpoint where everything's going great, and right after that, everything just comes crumbling down, and it gets worse and worse and worse until the all is lost. Chet Fury has to be upset with Marty, and Marty has to be upset with Chet. Why? We all know that Marty's going to maybe take this shot that Dustin's going to give him, but why? So Chet Fury, I feel like, has to do something where like he doesn't show up to training and he has something else to do. And then Marty's like, well, if you're not actually going to help me, maybe Dustin's right. Maybe you are looking out for yourself and I need to look out for myself too. He goes to Dustin's training facility. When when Marty's going to Dustin's training facility, what is Chet Fury doing that day? I thought maybe the guy, Champ from Anchorman. I know they're good friends too.
Yeah.
He has like the WCW instead of WWE, probably lower even than that, and he wants him to come on full time, and he's showing him around, and he's like, I want you to wrestle, I want you to do whatever you want to do. And through their dialogue, they've been maybe old friends and all this stuff, he realizes like he doesn't actually want it, but it's too late. When they go into the next match, he already kind of got got by Marty, by Dustin. Marty did.
Yep.
And Chet Fury was like, had this moment of realization. It was kind of too late, and it starts crumbling.
And I would say the simplest is Chet doesn't tag him in.
Chet doesn't tag him in
Goes
at a match.
Maybe he goes off script. He doesn't tag him in, and they lose, which is, kind of maybe a problem for their thing. I just a bigger picture thing that you just brought up for me is, Chet's arc right now is he starts as just an egotistical dick, and he starts, taking Golden Boy under his wing, and you start seeing the other side of Chet. I don't think currently we have that trajectory for Golden Boy, which has to be the reverse of that, where he starts as like a doughy-eyed, like up-and-comer with a dream, and turns into what Chet was in the beginning, which is like an egotistical prick. So that, for me, those two things could be in here. And what does it look like? I don't know yet, but, it's like, again, the Pope in the pool thing, like, what do we make them? How do we show that that's what those decisions they're making? Okay. I think we can hash that out, but at least we know where this section needs to go to get us to number 20 here toward the end.
Which I think is the midpoint, which really is just, I feel like a false victory, them thinking that everything is working out. But obviously we see things behind the scenes that are going to start popping up.
Okay.
Chet and Marty are at the top of their game. Nothing can stop them. They're back in their hometown of Chicago for the last two matches. The last one being WrestleMania.
Oh, you guys didn't know they were in Chicago? We mentioned that many times.
Mm-hmm. You knew their hometown of Chicago, which you find out halfway through the movie.
So I
back in Chicago, where we live.
So I had to put that in here so I didn't forget, because I was thinking when the montage is happening, they're traveling. So it's probably a lot of like they're on a bus or something. And I was like, why are all the matches happening in the same city? I know that's like a weird semantics thing.
No, I like that.
But I think that's important, and I think we need to add that in there, that's like the last two matches are happening there, and the last match is WrestleMania, and that's where he saw WrestleMania as a kid.
Yep.
Act 2B. Dustin convinces Marty to start training in the gym. Dustin's posse shows him around. He has everything he needs as he begins to train.
So just so the viewer knows, Act 2B is really like is the opposite side of Act A, and we're just about to get into where that ordinary world and new world collide. So Act 2B is bad guys close in, and it starts dwindling. All these relationships starts breaking apart.
The villain starts to win.
Yep.
Jessica and Marty are having problems. Jessica shows up to the new training gym confused by Marty's decision. He seems different.
Definitely not a good fleshed out scene, but that was like what I think has to happen there, because I didn't have another scene where Jessica and Marty were having any issues whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So whether this has Pope in the pool again could be funny if they're in this new gym with all of these like all of the Dustin's posse. We could have some funny moments. He could be doing a weird exercise with one of them where she's just like, what is this? This isn't real. And it could be the Jane Lynch character, like, you know nothing about stretching before killing. So I think that has to happen there, but it definitely needs to be a better scene.
Understood.
Marty seems fully with Dustin on his venture and shows up late. Fury is mad at him, and he has changed costume and attitude.
He has changed costume and attitude.
They have a falling out. Dustin steals Marty's chair. Brody is seen at the match. It's the last match before WrestleMania. The match is about to start, and Marty shows up late. He's in a new costume with a spray tan.
What happened to you? This is Will.
Fury tells him he's late, and they don't have time to rehearse. The music goes on, and they go out. As the opponents come out, Fury looks over at Marty, pissed.
What the hell are you doing? I thought working in the new gym wouldn't cause any problems.
Marty is stretching.
No problem here.
Fury snaps back.
Dustin hurt my friends, and they were never able to wrestle again.
Marty laughs.
You know, Dustin already told me all this. Wrestling is changing. I'm here, but I have to look at my future. Nobody has given me the shot until now. I know this is like really harsh dialogue of like,
No.
would he say it like that?
Point.
But that is the point that needs to be given to him.
Fury.
He had the Grim Reaper come out for me. Went off script and nearly killed me. I was the only one that beat the Grim Reaper. I'm sure Dustin didn't tell you that.
Marty, stop.
Wait. Only one that person has beaten the Grim Reaper? The girl I'm dating, the trainer Jessica, her dad.
Fury.
Yeah, my daughter Jessica.
Marty looks at the opponents coming in the ring when Fury realizes what he said and turns to Marty. Marty backs down. Fury presses him.
Jessica? That's who you're dating?
They enter the ring and the match begins, but instead of fighting their opponents, they start to fight each other.
So, I don't know if we actually went over this, but after she waxes, another scene that I don't think I added in here, but after she shaves his chest and all that, he has a match that starts that montage with Chet Fury. And he mentions, he's like, oh, nice wax. And he's like, thanks. And he's like, you know, I used to have a special time with that wax. And he's kind of like, yeah, me too. And he's like, oh, a girl did it? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, after, man, my wife, she used to, after she used to like shaving my chest, man. Afterwards, she would. And he's like nodding his head. He's like, you too? All right. And they fist bump. So he just fist bumped him for having sex with his own daughter after shaving his chest.
I love the reversal, like the crazy stupid love realization too. I think it's wonderful.
And it's perfect moment because they're about to fight opponents in the ring and they're just like talking to each other while they're coming down.
So for those of you who don't remember, Jessica was Marty's love interest. They went out, and now suddenly midway through the movie, they realize our main character realizes Chet Fury is her dad. Is that what I'm? That makes sense. Okay,
that's perfect.
Yeah. All right. They enter the ring and the match begins, but instead of fighting their opponents, they start to fight each other. Chet does his finisher on Marty and pins him. Dustin is watching the fight with glee as everything is going to plan. Dustin takes Marty's chair. Marty was never even given the opportunity, and Chet treats it like he can come and release.
Okay, so Dustin takes Marty's chair, and we got to remember that this is the chair we saw him in the beginning. Just a reminder, like that is the plant that we see him multiple times with this chair. It means everything to him. He watched all of the wrestling matches with this chair that he had as a kid when Chet Fury used it to pummel the opponent. So this chair is really important, and Dustin just goes away with it. And Marty, this is where him and Chet have a falling out. So there's not any dialogue here. But he kind of just, I think there actually might be at the end here, but he kind of just starts reaming out Chet because he's like, this is bullshit.
Marty realizes that Dustin might be right and that wrestling is fake.
It's not just the stories that are fake, it's the people themselves.
Brody is seen at the ring as he watches Marty.
Who's that?
A fan next to him says,
Marty.
Brody laughs.
Oh my God, Marty?
Marty
so I was
walks
thinking this
around.
could happen here or it can happen in the montage.
This is Marty's dad we're talking about.
Yes.
Now. Okay. I feel like, I know this is silly, but Marty, Brody, and Fury it's hard to,
okay, let's
like, as you're
change
reading,
one of the...
like eventually I think we get to that, like maybe adjust the names so that
'Cause
they're
it's
like,
no
Fury will be
why.
called Chet. You'll probably
Yeah,
call
yeah.
him Chet.
Yep.
So it'd probably be
That
Chet,
cleans that
Marty,
up a
and
lot.
Brody. But Marty and Brody are still kind of similar.
but they're father and son, but yeah, I feel like when you're reading it, you get like with just the
Oh,
Y
the
names, you're kind of
Uries.
like,
Too many Uries in it. Marty walks around the locker room, panicking about the chair. Jessica and Marty have a falling out. Jessica shows up to help comfort as her father said that he fucked up.
I'm thinking that her father just told something to Jessica, like, I don't know if that's relevant at all. She's just going there and seeing him freak out and just saw what happened out there. They just fought each other in a tag team match and like left. So she's just curious why he's bugging out, and he's just going around the locker room asking like which chair, looking for the chair, freaking out.
Marty just wants to find his chair, and Jessica says it's no big deal. He freaks out, telling her that it's no big deal to her because her dad is Chet Fury. His dad is a lowlife, and his mom meant everything to him, and that stupid chair is the last thing left of her that he has, but she wouldn't know that feeling.
So this is like really, he just starts kind of lashing out. When she's like, it's not a big deal, it's just a chair, and he's like, yeah, it's not a big deal, like your dad being Chet Fury. Because that would be a huge deal for me. You know, I would, like, I could have been a wrestler way before, but my dad was, you know, he left me at a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
And all I had was that chair at that night, and my mom took me to every wrestling match with that chair, and now she's gone.
Not only that, it's information that she withheld from him. It would have been helpful for him to know that he was dating his partner's daughter.
Yep.
Plays into that fight.
I love when we finish this thought and you just hear, It's a great transition. We should add it to the board.
Brody shows up and Marty throws him his towel and tells him to fuck off. Marty barges out to see Brody waiting for him.
Sorry, no autographs.
Marty goes to push Brody out of the way.
Marty, it's your dad.
Marty gets in his face. They both stand there.
Yeah, what do you want?
Brody
He's not fazed at all
stutters.
that his dad's there. He's so over everything.
Brody stutters.
Marty, you made it. Could you get me into WrestleMania?
Marty laughs.
Dad, you're right about one thing. You just can't have anyone around if you want to be a wrestler. Got to look out for yourself.
Marty hands him his sweaty towel and leaves.
He kind of just has it around his neck and just pushes it against his chest.
Brody pawns off Marty's towel and joins Dustin's team. Brody is outside waiting at the back door. He sees a young fan with Marty's shirt and pawns Marty's towel off.
Hey kid, hey, I got Golden Boy's towel, $20. Really? How do I know it's his? Look at the video. You see?
Dustin walks out of the stadium and Brody bombards him. Sir Overlord, huge fan. I'm a wrestler myself. I've been looking for an opportunity to get into the sport for decades. Dustin blows him off as his posse opens the door for him into the SUV, and they follow. He tells Brody,
I don't have time for you.
And closes the door in his face, but Brody looks down.
Yeah, son doesn't have time for me either. He's supposed to be this golden boy.
Dustin lowers his window with an evil smirk.
Your son is Golden Boy?
Dustin throws his success.
It's good though. I think the listener needs like a good 10
digest,
seconds.
Yeah. Well, the soundtrack is going in Kyle's head, so it ring out, and then
What's the soundtrack?
For that part, it was like.
There's always like a couple little like weird gunshot laser things.
Okay,
All
I
right.
want to see.
Um,
Okay.
Dustin throws his success in Chet's face and tells him to quit. Chet goes to Underground Wrestling, and Dustin shows up with his goons. Dustin pointing to various old wrestlers.
I made him retire. I made him leave. I got him fired, etc. You should
He, like,
actually
says that.
say that, etc. You guys never let me wrestle. You guys never let me wrestle, but that's okay, because I'm making sure you all never wrestle again, especially you, Chet. I made lots of money, and now everyone is going to have to do what I say. That's so much. He can just say, I made him leave, I got him fired, etc. And then he just goes, I'm this, I'm that. You go, does the audience not know what I am? I'm going to say it a little more.
Here are my intentions for this scene.
Chet and Dustin wrestle, but Dustin is terrible and just leaves, saying it's unfair.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, all right, you want a shot? Like maybe the posse actually exit on like, wrestle him. And Dustin is like, well, I have to because my posse, and goes in there, and he is terrible. And he's like, my torso is tweaked or whatever. I'll do it anyway. Okay. But he has to be like a super bitch here and just like cop out.
And this is that same like underground wrestling ring. This is a big set piece, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we were saying it needs to even be shown again, and maybe that's the 4.
We were calling it the Wrestler's Graveyard at one point or something like that.
Which is better.
I like that.
Wrestler's Graveyard is better. You guys literally call it the Wrestler's Graveyard. That's pretty sad. You're dead to me.
And you're dead to him. Fuck you. Fuck you. Marty is defeated and asks for old job back. Ron talks sense into him. Marty visits Ron in the security room. He asks for his job back. Ron opens up, saying he gave his 2 weeks' notice to pursue his dream of making billboards. Marty inspired him to do what he loves. Marty questions if he even wants to be a wrestler. Ron tries to cheer him up by showing him funny edits of the security footage, as they used to do. He shows him footage of Dustin freaking out and throwing a random chair out in the dumpster. The chair was Marty's. Marty is defeated.
I don't think he has to say this, but I trusted him.
Ron is confused.
That guy? I wouldn't trust that guy at all. He's crazy. Is that what's wrong? This crazy guy did something?
Marty.
Yeah, sort of. Kind of screwed everything up.
Ron.
What I do is go back to where everything started. You know, when things started going good for you. You can get some zen from that. When I saw you wrestle a few months back, I said, dang, he looks like he was made for this. Then I went home and I got to making billboards again.
Marty.
Got back into making billboards.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Ron.
Marty is back at the community wrestling to see old faces. He pawns off gold bars to fix the ring, fix his relationship with Jessica. Marty returns to community wrestling for a night. He fights Fred with an epic fight he owed him. The ring is still shitty. Jessica moves gear into her new space. Chet watches the 1992 WrestleMania tape that shows Marty as a kid. Marty pawns off the gold bar armbands and uses the money to fix the local ring.
So remember when he came into the ring, he was just in Dustin's gym. They give him a spray tan, all this ridiculous shit that Jessica's like, what are you doing? Who are you? They give him armbands, and remember the costumery. You know, the big thing about that was like, make sure your flanges, make sure you can like move easily, and Dustin gives him like crazy real gold armbands.
Heavy armbands.
Which are ridiculous. Okay. So that's one reason why Will is upset in that right at that midpoint too. So he is seen with Ron putting up a billboard. He shows up to Jessica's sports therapy business, almost ready to open. He apologizes and shows her a billboard he and Ron did for her business. She says that they need to have dinner with her father, as the next day is the big match.
All right.
This was a big thing for me for like intent reasons. I know it's just a dinner, and we just talked about not doing that, but it's at his house, and we're gonna cut to a scene where she's like, we need to make amends here. And it's going to be Will Ferrell at the table in his fighting robe. And she'll be like, Dad, why do you have your fighting robe on? He's like, oh, never know. Never know when someone's going to, need to wrestle, a lot of B&Es around here. So I might need to wrestle a criminal or anything.
I feel like a hill that I will die on is they should fight there. Just for the type of movie this is, for the comedy, for the way we've been going.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't want to reference this, but, like, the Family Guy chicken and Peter fights that are like, wait, this is still going? You know what I mean? Like, I would be fine with a really absurd fight. I think maybe we just need to kind of look at it in terms of a sports movie and count how many sequences we've had so far.
A lot of fighting, but I'm fine with more.
But just there's a lot of potential for comedy, even if that fight continues into the street and or if you put that dinner in public, or how do we make that, have them have the same conversation but make it hilarious? I know it just costs a lot more, but
no, but I like them doing it in public because at the end of the match they can all chant both of their names, like, we love you, like, and they're like, shit,
Yeah.
Like they realize towards the end of that they're meant to be
Well,
together.
very, very early on when we started working on this movie, there was like a Chet Fury's comeback was him granting a Make-A-Wish kid
Yeah.
by body slamming the Make-A-Wish kid. Like, what if I just thought like the idea of somebody like a sick child who's like kind of helpless but still loves wrestling, being able to witness that, and then them realizing, oh, that's right, this is the greater purpose of this thing. It's not really about
Okay.
us. So if we
like
set
that.
it in that same, we had it like in a hospital or something like that. If there's a setting there that's like,
I think 100%. And
and
now I'm
same
actually
conversation.
well, them in a really nice restaurant, and you see Marty in like a suit and her in a dress, and he's in his leotard.
Yeah, and they're in a nice restaurant.
yeah.
It starts on the two shot of them two, and they're
Yeah.
eating, like looking back, and then it cuts to.
And Will Ferrell's headband, whatever his getup is, he's
Yeah.
wearing it,
I
and he's
love it.
oiled down already.
I think we should break right here. We're just getting into Act 3, and we'll finish this this movie's first pass of blocking in the next episode, where obviously Chet and Marty have to patch up their relationship and then go fight the ultimate villain.
Yep, that's it.